Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a stack of paper that I've kind of mixed up a little bit for you. We're going to put it on the jogging machine. We'll jog it down so it's nice and neat. We'll put it on the paper cutter, and we're going to make 2 cuts. So this is standard 8.5 by 11. We're going to cut it in half, so it'll be 5.5, and we're going to turn that and cut it in half again, which would be 4 1/4. So I'm going to show you how to run this. We're going to talk about just 2 safety features that you need to, safety procedures that you need to follow. Pretty simple. I'll show you how to enter in your measurements and make your cuts. After we've cut our paper, we're going to go to this little machine right here. This is a little corner rounder, and we're going to round off the corners on our paper after we cut it. So this is the paper jogger. It's got a little motor in it, I'm sure, and probably a little offset weight, so it shakes like crazy. So it's got some little rubbery feet under here. You can see it's kind of like a box with part of it removed, and it's got this thing called a rheostat. So this is off, and as you turn it, the further you turn it, the faster the motor goes. It's fairly noisy, so as far as safety, the only thing you really need to be concerned with is your hearing protection. So we're only going to do this for a few seconds, so I'm not going to ask you to go put earmuffs on or anything. Just know that if this was your job 8 hours a day, you'd need to make sure that you protected your hearing. We've hooked this up to a little foot pedal just to make it a little easier so that you can use both your hands to hold the paper and so on. So when you step on it, okay, so we're going to gather up, I don't know, let's just say maybe a 1/4 inch of paper. Okay, so we're going to take some paper, we'll set it in there. It doesn't really matter which way you put it. And depending on the paper, this wants to jog without it even being running. But depending on the paper and the static and so on, it may need this or not. So with that in there, like that, and now we have our paper all jogged up. Now let's walk over to the paper cutter, and I want to tell you a couple of things about the paper cutter. Number one, this is a single operator machine. So we have a safety line, and only one person can operate this at a time. So nobody else can be in this area. So that's safety rule number 1. Safety rule number 2 is before you operate it, you need to say clear. So you don't whisper it, but you don't have to scream it so we hear it in the other room. You have to say it loud enough that if anyone were around, if someone were behind this or reaching in, that they would know that you're about to operate the machine. So there's a lot of machinery that you're supposed to say clear before running. And we'll go ahead and turn it on. You'll see it boot up. Okay, so it says back gauge must move to preset. Please clear the table. This is the table, so please clear the table and press clear to start. Over here on our keypad, it says clear, so we're going to press that, and it does kind of a self-check. So it finds where 5 inches is. Now, we got our paper, it's all jogged, and let me just show you a couple of neat features about this machine. Number 1, it's got a foot clamp. So it's got a clamp that will come down and hold your paper. So when the blade hits it, it doesn't move around. So the clamp will hold it still. This is one of the reasons why we have this machine. When I step on the pedal, you can hear an air compressor automatically start, right? That's the sound of an air compressor. You can hear the air release. The old machine had a hydraulic clamp. Hydraulic fluid does not compress. That's how it works. That's how it does its work. Air can compress. So what that means is you could actually have your hand in there, step on the pedal, and crush your hand with hydraulics. With air, it would just hurt. probably hurt real bad, but I don't think it would break your bones. Let's not find out, okay? We'll not find out. But that was one of the things. The other thing is it's if you have a big weight of paper that you need to move around, this one's real fancy. It's got these little air outlets. So if we turn on our air, these have air that will let your paper kind of float around. Just floats around on a cushion of air. Don't need it for this, obviously. Okay, now I want to cut this in half. So I can use my ruler and I can measure and know that it's 11 inches. Half of 11 inches is 5.5. So we're going to put in our measurement. I want this to be 5.5 inches and then cent. Just like that. Okay, so now our readout says that it's 5.5 inches. We're going to take our paper, push it right up to the corner. Either corner is fine. You can either have it on this side, or you can have it on this side. Now, this is the jogger that Emma was talking about. This is a paper jogger, so if you want to stack your paper up and give it one more little jog, that's what this is for. This lives right here. Make sure that gets better, okay? You obviously don't want it under the blade, it would ruin things. Okay, so it's all set to go. So your two safety rules are, number one, check to make sure you're the only person in the operating area. So you kind of have to look behind you and make sure no one snuck up on you. The other thing is you have to say clear. To operate the machine, you're going to push these two paddles. So there's a paddle here and a paddle here, one for each hand. They both have to be pressed in simultaneously. So the first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to push in the buttons and the motor will come on. I can let go and then hold it down again and then the blade comes down. All right? So step one is to press on the clamp. The clamp will come down, press in the buttons, let them go, press the second time. One more safety feature on this machine is it has an I-beam that goes across. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear that it's sensing my hand in there. So if I was running the machine and somebody tripped and fell and ended up in the machine, as soon as that beam is broken, the blade goes up or stays up. So it's very, very safe. Okay? All right. So check to make sure no one's there. Clear. There we go. So we've cut it in half. Now we're going to take our two, jog them together, and change it to 4 1/4. So that 4 1/4, or half of 8.5, is 4.25. And then send. Now it's going to move. And we're going to take our paper. We'll try the other side. Actually, no, for the camera, we'll put it over here. We're going to jog it. Check. Clear. Okay, now we got our finished paper. Now the motor will go off. It'll go off because it's got a timer, but if you don't want to listen to it, you can press stop motor. All right. The next step is to round off the corner. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. This isn't quite set up. We'll reset this up for everybody. But basically you're going to take your paper and stick it in the corner rounder and step on the pedal. And it does a nice little corner round, so it's kind of neat. Okay. Alright, that's it. This is the Cadillac or Shrinkback. It's got all kinds of fancy stuff on it. It's got a power takeoff. It's really super neat. There's a whole story about it. Anyway, it's got this film and it's kind of like a little envelope. So we got film underneath and film on top. This is adjustable. There's a wire here, kind of like your toaster. So when you step on it, it makes a magnetic connection, and it heats that up, and it melts this plastic together. It melts it and cuts it. Once you let go or bring it up, the little conveyor belt runs it down here, which is a little ridiculous because it's literally 2 feet, and it goes through this oven. The oven shrinks the plastic, and then you've got a nice little shrink wrapped package. So, a couple of things. This has got a very strong piston to push it up. So be aware that if you don't hold it, it's going to shoot up like that. Alright? So it's got a little plastic piece right here that you can kind of help hold it. I wouldn't touch the other part just because it's electric and it's hot and so on. Anyway, basically you're going to take your finished product, again, kind of jog it down. It's going to go in this little envelope that you create. And you're going to pull this forward, get it situated. And you can see the little burn marks where this electric wire is going to melt it. So we're going to bring this down, like that. And it comes off, goes through the little conveyor belt, on down in. And it comes out all shrink wrapped. Now, it's not hot enough, so I can run this through a couple of times. Once this gets hot enough, it'll come out just nice and taut and just like, they made it at a factory or whatever. So, kind of have to be ready to catch it or have a basket or something for it to land on. Any questions about this?